Ladies, we are here tonight on the show. So tonight we just got a bunch of wrestling news here tonight on a fucking. I beg your pardon. Trying to be more classy on a friction Wednesday. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's go off the wood. Oh my lord, our Harwood. Man, these guys, I feel so bad for them, man. In a matter of 3 weeks, they lost all their tag team titles, the freaking New Japan tag team titles, the AAA tag team titles, and the Ring of Honor. They literally were from having 3 tag team titles to having 0. Oh my lord. Now they're saying that because Dark Harwood podcast is very controversial, they might have to take it away from him. Oh man, all the stuff he said about CM Punk in the first episode about how they should find a way to figure things out and have CM Punk come back to AEW, and then a bunch of wrestlers starting with Chris Jericho saying they would absolutely block that from happening if AEW would try to bring back CM Punk. And man, they're saying that they might take the podcast away, man. Jesus Christ, poor Hard Dogswood, man. Oh, he lost all his tag team championships and all just a freaking week after his podcast starting up. They might take him down. Jesus Christ, poor Darks Harwood. Oh my lord. There's Anthony Bones. So what happened, I think last week was there was a segment with Jeff Jarrett and the Acclaim and Max Caster. You know, he came out with his rap and he said something about how Jeff Jarrett stole Kurt Angle's wife, and I think it happened in real life. I think Jeff Jarrett's wife was married to Kurt Angle before, and then she got divorced and married Jeff Jarrett. So Jeff Jarrett's wife was not very happy at this. He said we're gonna have some problems for sure. And then I think Anthony Bones said, I respect Kurt Angle a lot more than I do Jeff Jarrett. And if you're gonna be, and he told, if you're gonna be coming after my boy Max Caster, we're gonna for sure have some problems. So who knows if this is gonna storyline or this is legit, a legit heat between Jeff Jarrett and Max Caster. And well, I guess now it's a bunch of people, right? Jeff Jarrett's wife, and both the Acclaim, right? Both Anthony Bones and Max Caster. So we'll see what happens with all that shit, man. Ladies and gentlemen, wow. Bailey, man, Bailey and Naomi were in Japan to support Sasha Banks' debut. She debuted last night after Kairi Sane defended successfully her women's champion. She came out and pretty much beat her up. And then she said she's next. I think next month they're having a pay-per-view, I believe, in San Jose, which is pretty much like around San Francisco. And she pretty much challenged her to a match for the women's championship. So it's going to be officially Sasha Banks versus Kairi Sane. Her name is, what the hell, Mercedes Moné, I believe her name is, in New Japan now. She cut her hair. It's like different colors. But yeah, man, so Sasha Banks officially signed with New Japan, and her first match will be in a month versus Kairi Sane for the Women's Championship. And we'll see if she wins it right away, man. Maybe they'll put the title right on her first match. Jesus Christ, man. We'll see what the hell happens. But Bailey and Naomi were there to support. And they're saying that Naomi is not expected to join her in New Japan. There's actually a lot of talk she's going to go back to WWE. Maybe as far as her in a few weeks coming back and being one of the Royal Rumble entrances for the women's match. So we'll see, but it looks like she's going to be going back to WWE. So we'll see what happens with there. Bailey was just there as a friend, to support her friend Sasha Banks, aka Mercedes Moné, in her first and making her debut in New Japan. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Also, Will Ospreay said on the show, he said, I definitely like how Triple H, man, he's allowing Carl Anderson to still do stuff with us, even though he's not with WWE. I really respect him for that. And I mean, I can see myself, I've always wanted to wrestle Seth Rollins. Maybe me and Seth Rollins can do something in the future, whether he comes here and has a match with me and you in Japan, or maybe I'll go over there and have a match with him in WWE. So we'll see, man. But Will Ospreay looking very interested in working with WWE and especially Seth Rollins. And like I said, he gave a lot of praises to Triple H for allowing Carl Anderson to continue to work with New Japan, even though he signed with WWE. So good stuff right there, man. They're saying that a freaking to expect the crossover between Raw and SmackDown, like you saw this week, freaking the Usos, Sol Sikoa, Sami Zayn, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, all SmackDown guys were on Raw. They're saying expect to continue to see guys from Raw on SmackDown and guys from SmackDown on Raw. So I don't know. I mean, are they going to end the brand split? There's a lot of rumors coming around that the draft was going to be after WrestleMania. But now who knows? Could they possibly just end the brand split? Because it really helps with the ratings, man. Like, I think that's one of the reasons why a Dynamite most weeks is really good, because they have the 100% roster that they're available for them, right? Where WWE gets to work with about 50% of the roster for Raw and SmackDown. So this really helps the show, I feel like. Just having guys on both shows, like I said, just because you had some certain some certain guys on Raw doesn't mean you have to have them all again on SmackDown, right? You can have like McIntyre, Sheamus on Raw, but then don't have them on SmackDown. Instead, maybe bring, you still have Bray Wyatt. You maybe have a Roman Reigns appearance, a Bray Wyatt appearance. You don't need to, just because you don't do a brand split doesn't mean everybody has to be on everybody week. Everybody has to be on Raw every week. Everybody has to be on SmackDown. You can still do it in a way where you have some certain guys on Raw that week, and then have them take SmackDown off, and have some other guys that weren't on Raw on SmackDown. You don't have to do it like, oh, we're going to tie the wrestlers out if we're having them, be on both shows, especially if they're on the road since like Friday doing live events. So you can still do it like where you're not using 100% of the roster for every Raw and every SmackDown. Just enough guys to make the show good. But we'll see, man. But expect to continue the crossover brands to appear on Raw and SmackDown. WWE is having some visa problems. I guess a lot of the international guys, especially the NXT UK guys, had not been able to go to NXT because they can't get here. So this goes back to yesterday when we were talking about with Sammy Guevara about him having visa problems and not being able to make it to the Mexico shows for AAA. So I did not know this. I thought visas were. Well, actually, you know what? No, actually, you do need a visa to come to the U.S., right? But I didn't know you needed a visa to go to Mexico. I thought Mexico was just a passport. But yeah, for sure, you do probably need a visa to come here to the United States and wrestle. It counts as work, right? So that's the reason why they're not having a lot of international wrestlers from NXT UK make their NXT appearance the last few weeks or months, because they just can't get their visa to come here. But I didn't know, I didn't know that Mexico also asked for a visa for these wrestlers. I thought they just asked for the passport. So yeah, I'm not surprised about here in the U.S. because I know here in the U.S. they ask for a visa, right? It's like a permission to come here and work. But I did not know for Mexico, so I still I guess I learned something new when it came to Mexico. You also need a visa to work over there. So yeah, that's why they're not having a lot of international wrestlers, because they're having visa problems getting them from the UK to the US. Anyway, let's see here. Alexa Bliss is a heel officially, which means people are confused. How is it going to work if she ends up with Bray Wyatt? Because Bray Wyatt is a baby face. How is that going to work? So if they do go back together, one's going to be a heel, one's going to be a baby face. So people are wondering how that would work if they do get put back together in the future. But we'll see, man. Summer Rae was at a backstage at Monday Night Raw this past week. A lot of people are wondering what's going on. I think they could be maybe negotiating something, maybe a one-night thing for Royal Rumble. So Batista supposedly was on SmackDown backstage this past Friday. So maybe they're just negotiating. I think they bring a lot of guys back this month for to fill out the Royal Rumble, right? And not only to fill it out, but also they want the surprise element. So they bring back a bunch of former stars. So maybe that's why both Batista and Batista was on SmackDown and Summer Rae was on Raw, because maybe they're trying to negotiate to bring them in for the one night at Royal Rumble. So we'll see, man. SmackDown drew a 1.6 rating, which is their biggest rating in 2 years. So that last time was Christmas of 2020. What happened that year? I believe there was an NFL game on a Friday at like 3 o'clock, and the game I think went to overtime. And so a bunch of NFL fans started watching SmackDown because SmackDown aired right after the NFL game, because the NFL game carried over into 7 o'clock, or right into 7 o'clock, because it went to overtime. And they said a bunch of people were like interested in it, and so this was the best rating since that show. 2.6 million. So yeah, man, freaking good show for WWE. Already well, I guess no, it was still the last SmackDown of 2021. I was gonna say already possibly the best of SmackDown of 2022, but actually no, that was on January 30th, so it was still 2022. I beg your pardon. I think that's all, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Until next time, I'm out like a light.